There is a reason some people in Japan do not throw dolls away, not donate them, not burn them, not even store them. They keep them because some things don't like being abandoned, and some things don't stop growing. The doll sat in the corner of the room for years before anyone noticed what was wrong. That's the unsettling part. It didn't move. It didn't speak. It didn't need to. It waited. The family lived in a quiet coastal town, small, the kind where everyone knows each other's routines. Shops closed early, nights were long, and traditions still mattered. The grandmother had passed away peacefully in her sleep, or so they thought. When her belongings were sorted, most of it was ordinary: clothes, photographs, letters written in careful handwriting. And then, the doll. It was old, handmade, dressed in a faded kimono, pale porcelain skin, black hair cut evenly at the shoulders. The grandmother had kept it since childhood. She used to speak to it when she thought no one was listening. The family laughed it off. Loneliness, they said. Old age, sentimentality. They placed the doll on a shelf in the spare room and forgot about it. At least they tried to. The first thing they noticed was the hair. It looked longer, just slightly. At first, they blamed memory. Human perception is unreliable, especially when you're tired, especially when grief is involved. But then the daughter found strands of black hair on the tatami floor. Not hers, not her mother's. Too coarse, too dark. She swept them away, didn't mention it. Some things feel dangerous once you say them out loud. If stories rooted in real folklore and quiet dread pull you in, you may want to subscribe. We tell the ones that don't scream. They whisper. The daughter Aya began noticing the doll in different positions. Head tilted slightly, hands resting differently, eyes catching the light in a way they hadn't before. She took photos, compared them. There was no denying it anymore. The hair had grown. In Japanese tradition, dolls are not toys. They are vessels. They absorb emotion, memory, attachment, especially when loved too much. Aya brought the doll to a local priest. He didn't touch it. He didn't smile. He only asked one question. Did it belong to a child? Aya nodded. The priest sighed. This doll has been fed, he said quietly. He explained that when grief, loneliness, or love is poured into an object long enough, it begins to respond. Not with movement, with presence. He advised a ritual, a farewell, a release. The doll had to be thanked, acknowledged, and let go. But Aya hesitated, because that night she heard breathing. It came from the spare room, slow, gentle, like someone sleeping peacefully. She stood outside the door for a long time, listening, convincing herself it was the house settling. The wind, anything else. When she finally opened the door, the doll was sitting on the floor, facing her. The shelf was untouched, the window closed, and the doll's hair brushed the tatami like it belonged there. Aya didn't scream. She backed away, closed the door, locked it, and slept with the lights on. The next morning, the doll was back on the shelf, neatly placed, hair combed. As if nothing had happened, days passed. Aya avoided the spare room, but the house felt fuller, crowded, like someone else was always just out of sight. Then the dreams started. Aya dreamed of being watched from the corner of her room, of small footsteps at night, of a voice whispering her name in her grandmother's tone. One night, she woke to pressure on the mattress. As if someone had climbed onto the bed, she didn't open her eyes. She knew better. She felt hair brush her cheek. The ritual could no longer wait. The priest returned, brought charms, incense, salt. He warned her, once acknowledged. The doll would not want to be left again. During the ritual, the room grew cold. The incense smoke moved against the air, and the doll smiled. Not much, just enough. The priest stopped chanting. His face drained of color. "It doesn't want to leave," he whispered. "It thinks this is its home now." The lights flickered. The room filled with the sound of something cracking. Not porcelain, bone. The doll's mouth opened, and a voice came out. Not childish, not sweet, old, tired, lonely. "Don't leave me again." The priest fled. He would not return. That night, Aya packed a bag. She planned to leave, to abandon the house, to start over. But the doll was waiting by the door, standing, hair reaching the floor. Eyes no longer glassy, watching. "You promised," it said. The neighbors heard screaming. But when police arrived, the house was quiet, empty, except for the doll, sitting peacefully on the shelf, hair trailing across the floor. Years later, the house remains unoccupied, but caretakers report something strange. They say the doll's hair keeps growing. They cut it, dispose of it, burn it. It always grows back. Some nights, lights turn on inside the house, and people swear they see a woman standing by the window, still, smiling. If this story stayed with you, if you're thinking twice about the objects you keep, then you understand why these stories are told. Subscribe for more and tell us in the comments, would you keep the doll or let it go?